All right. Good day, everybody. Happy midday and midweek. We are live and we are ready to get started. So, as always, my name is Jared. This is Engineering the Markets. It is December 29th, 2021. And let's take a look at where we are midweek. Oftentimes, just starting with the SPX expected move, taking a look to see, has the option market been sort of correct in its overall expansion of the SPY range? And so far, we're looking at a market that has tagged the upper bound of the expected move. So for the remainder of the week, at least according to the option market, the market really doesn't have to push too much further, and we will still be within sort of a normalized standard deviation range. So ultimately, target achieved for the upside of the market. The option market dictates that this is sort of a risk area. And what we can often find is that when the markets get to these price levels, they begin to oscillate or chop. We saw that a bit yesterday with some of the price activity intraday. There wasn't really a lot of directional bias outside of maybe some light selling inside of the NASDAQ. And of course, as we can see here, we have not necessarily breached this area with a significant close. We've simply expanded slightly higher and pulled back in. So sorry, not a break, but a slight breach. So for the rest of the week, whenever this scenario happens, we often will see a market that simply sort of settles within these price ranges. One thing I like to do is just sort of anticipate movement. If we start to see something like a technical move lower, we might be able to target things like where did the market open on the week? And that would be, of course, centralized around the previous Friday close, somewhere around 47.25. Obviously, if we start to pull back a little bit further, we will be coming back into our technical trading range that we just broke out of. And that's sort of why this particular close from last week, along with the previous swing highs that the market has been trading in between, these areas are of interest if the market is about to do a daily pullback or just consolidation of a 4 to 5 day advance. We can see this activity as well on the SPY. Essentially not trying to overcomplicate where we are in the chart. We are at all-time highs. We're in a relatively bullish time frame for the market, the Santa Claus rally time frame. And while the volume has been a bit low, we're not yet seeing any significant selling pressure yet. Obviously, yesterday was an indecisive type of day, no real directional bias. However, we need to see additional confirmation to confirm that a daily pullback is underway, at which point we'll simply be looking at the depth of this pullback to get a sense of where the market wants to head next. One sort of note for this pullback, we are a bit extended from our moving averages. This is fairly normal since the market has drawn up relatively quickly and we were coming from a period of consolidation. So the moving averages are taking a bit of time to play catch up. However, as you can see back in previous history, this is not necessarily a short signal, as the market did try to pivot on a strong expansion and obviously climbed much higher in between that time frame. Usually what traders can do is look for an exponential moving average, something like a more aggressive 9 or 12. They can see which one is sort of dictating the overall uptrend at that point in time and use this as an early signal that yes, the trend might be stalling or even reversing, but until that trend line is lost, the dominant sort of bias and of course the path of least resistance is certainly still to the upside. Another way you can kind of get a gauge of whether or not things are breaking through and starting daily consolidation is by looking at shorter time frames. Yesterday, we talked about the idea that really strong upthrusts in the daily chart often have some sort of lower time frame trending structure that is very clean and clear for buying opportunities. Over the past couple of sessions, while the intraday might have felt as if it was completely bullish, no pullbacks, everything just showing straight up, on a shorter time frame, you can see that there were sort of smaller time frame pullbacks. The hourly coming back into the 20 period, sparking a new swing high from these areas. And as you can see, yesterday was our first attempt to stall the market, which is what represents that sort of daily pivot, along with the idea that we are testing a 50 period. And if we can get a reaction off of this area, either to a new swing high or even just a back test of previous highs, that of course establishes our range for the time being, at which point it simply becomes a game of probability. If bulls want to continue, they have to break that high. They have to do so with a good amount of volume. And then typically a back test may occur in order to lead the market higher. If bears want to take over, they need to break our swing low. Our swing low was the first attempt to break the hourly uptrend. As you can see, we've lost the swing low into swing high pattern every single time. This is the first moment where a new high was not printed and a lower low was printed, establishing our upper bound range. So that range is set. The market is likely to test it one or two more times, at which point, whichever direction it breaks is sort of the new trending structure we can evaluate. In the larger context, of course, just a daily pullback. This is exactly what's happening on the NASDAQ. You can see that the larger context is, of course, our daily upthrust. This market did not necessarily print a new all-time high, but we are relatively close. And while we are pulling back on yesterday's session, we are back testing the upside portion of this daily trading range, the range that we have been caught within for multiple weeks. Obviously, our dominant thesis here is that buys off of the 20 period weekly have been some of the strongest re-entry points for this particular product. New highs would, of course, confirm that this buying opportunity was a bit of a pattern repeating across the bullish uptrend of 2021. And as we start to pull back, we look at that lower time frame once again and simply say the pattern of higher lows has been broken. So our range has been established. If bears want to take over, they need to form something like a lower high or a double top in the case of the range being tested to the top side, and essentially make a new low in order to end this dominant hourly uptrend. So with all that said, we're seeing a market that maybe is a bit of a stall. As we discussed yesterday, we had one of the most bullish first day starts to the Santa Claus rally. On average, this period of performance from the day after Christmas and 2 days into January, that sort of 7-day trading range, that often on average provides about a 1.3% upside inside of the S&Ps. Last Monday, our first session, we saw more than 1.3%. So we already sort of achieved over the average of the total 7 days, which means ultimately we could see much more upside. But as far as an average goes, we have achieved that Santa rally target. Especially with noting the SPX expected move, in order to see additional upside, we would need to see a breach of that move, and that would begin sort of a bit of a hedging type activity in the market. This is where you're going to see things like a little bit of gamma exposure being rolled off of different firms, people having to hedge that risk that have sold near the expected move. And then otherwise, we stay within those bounds and we sort of know our downside target based on the weekly pricing. And that was, of course, 46.54. So bit of a mixed bag when it comes to market breadth and sort of the performance yesterday. Let's pull up our S&P 100s. You can see that there was some weakness in tech that is due to that NASDAQ pullback. A lot of our larger market cap names either stalling or having a bit of a pullback or sell-off type event. More notably, one of our key leaders, Tesla. This was a stock that I had initially warned about continuing to be relatively bullish on the session. We are seeing that resistance point act as it should, putting up a stall in the overall momentum. Very similar look to the S&Ps, 4 days of upside, bit of a pause near resistance. And yet when we look at our hourly, the same logic applies. We had a very strong hourly uptrend, higher highs and higher lows, pullbacks to the 20 or close to it. Very strong, just rally overall, so not quite as orderly as the overall market. And yet, when we get to this upper level, this is where the market tends to take a break. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a short quite yet, as the market context is still relatively bullish in this name, but it is a moment to take profit. It is a moment to reevaluate your downside risk. And if you see a new breakout, we are representing here the potential of a bull flag. Essentially, strong thrust, pause in the dominant uptrend, and a range or pennant style breakout depending on the structure. Usually you have something like a range breakout for the flag type patterns and a pennant breakout for, in this case, the bull pennant breakouts, both of which have similar upside targets and expectations. But larger context, we did lose that Tesla strength, so not surprising to see some stall in the market. That was true of some of our bigger tech names as well, the likes of Apple and Microsoft, pausing near the highs. Once again, hourly uptrends are still the guide, but we have sort of broken through some of the swing high and swing low structure that has forced the market up over the past couple of days. New leaders in the space, the likes of Facebook, starting to break bullish, coming into an area of resistance, but structured very different. Of course, as things rotate into different key names, that rotational aspect of the market keeps the market strong. Different sectors leading at different times, as long as their market cap is relevant, are going to keep the market elevated and near or at all-time highs. If tech isn't leading that day, you want to see healthcare holding or leading. If both of them aren't leading, you want to see something like financials starting to lead. And if everything is pointed in one direction, that is your correlated or very strong trend day type candidate plays intraday. So as we get into sort of a wrap up for the year, wanted to cover a few things from yesterday's success webinar. Some people attended, some people maybe are going to watch the recap once it's posted. And then, of course, if you're not taking the luxury to join us at Bear Bull Traders, I'm going to go over one sort of advanced topic here that we covered briefly in the webinar, but it's important for traders who might want to take advantage of this potential trade type setup. So we look at the VIX quite often on this show, and one thing that we have started to really refine inside of Bear Bull Traders is the idea of different regimes inside of the volatility. Normally, whenever the VIX is very suppressed, usually below 20, even scraping into the low 15s, those sort of $5 ranges, different option strategies are more advantageous than others. Typically lower volatility, you may want to look at a bit of more debit related strategies. The expectation there is that with low IV, you want to be a buyer. You want to hold that debit and allow for the volatility to re-expand either in a key underlying or in the market in general. And with those expansions, your debit and hopefully your directional bias all play out into premium appreciation, essentially your profit and your realized gains for that trade. As the VIX is rising, of course, people may shift into things like delta neutral type strategies, looking more at premium collection type trades because the volatility is a bit elevated. And historically, what we've seen is spikes in volatility are often faded. So if you are able to assess the risk of an elevated volatility market, step into some premium strategies with defined risk, and ultimately hold through some of the possible shakeouts that occur from a technical sense, those premium strategies are often quite profitable as well. They can even provide a bit of downside hedge depending on the type of premium selling that you are generating. And then, of course, as volatility continues to rise, we often see that panic mode enter the market. And this is where hedging, or just having a hedge prepared for these more outlier type events, is a more profitable strategy. Essentially buying volatility when it is low, selling it when it is elevated, and then of course, if the market does fall apart, your hedge will protect your downside and lock in some of your overall bullish portfolio unrealized gains. Now, that sort of is a simple overview of how to interpret the VIX. Low volatility, low IV. This can be across the market. It can even be across a certain underlying. And whenever you look at underlying implied volatility, it's important to understand relative to the stock you're about to trade. Because when we're looking at implied IV, there's going to be sort of a perception that, okay, the market is pricing in sort of a 27% IV over the next 2 days. What does that mean for Apple? Is that high? Is that low? Is that fairly average? And one way to see that is to sort of look at these option statistic metrics. Usually, what you're going to see are relative ranges. In the case of this particular platform, we're looking at things like 52-week high and lows. Something like 55% for Apple is relatively high over the past year, 21% relatively low. And where we're sitting now as an aggregate is approximately 28% IV. So from the relative range, we are approximately, the implied IV is here, 26.65. So our IV percentile in between that 52-week range is sitting more towards the low end. It's not elevated, but it is not necessarily scraping the bottom of the barrel. Another way you can see this, a lot of platforms just offer a simple study. And when you apply this to your chart, you can see things like those IV spikes. And the idea here is pretty simple. Whenever markets start to breach things like expected moves and the volatility expansion is starting to increase, those are moments in time where you get things like gamma type squeezes. We saw that a couple of weeks ago in Apple making new all-time highs, along with spikes in IV are often fadeable type events, moments where you can sell premium with a bit of sort of technical nuance and some risk parameters in between, and take advantage of what is often a reduction in volatility after the event is over. You can see these spikes from a 52-week perspective. We have a 1 year here, so this is sort of the last year of trading activity for Apple. And these spikes are often not only faded, but there are moments where being a seller of option premium has sort of the best edge in the market. You want to be selling here. You want to be looking for sort of premium buying events here with the expectation that the volatility both will rise along with a technical bias for the directional aspect of option trading. So lots of nuance in a market, and a lot of that comes from the environment you're trading in. Now, that's a nice little topic, but that's not quite what I wanted to cover. So we're going to shift gears once again and simply look at the VIX one more time. Now, last webinar, we talked about the idea of different hedging strategies. And one of the ones that I personally have sort of a place in my heart for is using the VIX as a hedge, essentially buying VIX options or some sort of volatility product that tracks volatility futures. Now, whenever you're entering the VIX and looking for a hedge, the first thing that most people need to be aware of is how the VIX options are constructed. We talked about how there's a bit of oddity in the pricing of these volatility options, and I wanted to go into a little bit more detail during this session. The first thing you want to notice is most stocks, whenever they have their current market price, that will of course dictate where at the money options are currently located. For example, Apple's trading at about 179. If I open up a series and look at the 180 to 177.50s, roughly that at the money area, you'll notice what is known as put to call parity in the pricing. This is where the calls and the puts are priced essentially the same. You may get a bit of deviation, of course. There's people actually in this market putting higher IV on different strike prices, but overall the pricing should be pretty close. Fairly normal option structure. However, when you come to the VIX and you pull up the same sort of look, you're noticing the VIX is at approximately 17 to 18. And yet, when we look at the calls versus the puts, we notice something very different. We see that these prices are nowhere near each other. In fact, they're completely sort of disconnected in regards to the price of the VIX index itself. So what's going on here? Why is this happening? Well, the main reason is that the VIX options are not priced relative to the VIX index price. Instead, they are priced according to volatility futures. So for those who are unfamiliar with looking at a volatility future chain, main thing you need to understand here is volatility futures have different contracts across different expirations. You have things like the February series with 49 days left, March with 76, April with 112, so on and so forth. And what I want to call out here are two contracts that we can take a look at. For example, let's look at the February with 49 days and the April with 112. These prices are going to be about $22.50. Remember that for later. And 25. Pretty easy numbers to remember. This is why I chose them. As we shift back into the VIX option chain, let's look for those same dates to expiration. For the February series, we were looking at 49, so 48 is going to be our closest series. For the April expiration, we were looking at 112. 111 is going to be our closest. Now let's watch what happens when we go to the price of the volatility futures at that expiration as opposed to the VIX index price itself. If you recall, February is 22.5. And what we notice here at 22 and 23 is we are seeing that put call parity, that equal pricing of these particular option strikes, which means for this particular series, this set of strikes represents at the money. There's multiple ways to sort of see this outside of looking at volatility futures. You can look at something as simple as delta. Delta for at the money should be close to about 0.5. And that's going to be true on the put side. It looks like the call side is not updated yet. When the market opens, you can see this probably change closer to 50. There's a bit of mispricing here with the closed market. Another thing you can do is look at things like deep in the money intrinsic calls or puts, something with pure intrinsic value, almost no extrinsic value. And when you are familiar with how options are priced, you know that if something is intrinsic, it matches one-to-one with the underlying price movement. So if the underlying price movement moves up $1, a deep in the money call with pure intrinsic value should also move about $1 in premium. And when we look at something like our lowest strike, the $10, and we see that the bid and ask is pricing in at about $12.50, we add those two up because we're paying for a $10 sort of exposure and we're paying $12.50 to have it. That equates to $22.50, which matches our February futures contract price. Once again, just to show a second example, remember our April, that one was trading at about 25. We'll do this same example here. Let's look at the deep in the money. That $10 plus 15 premium, that equals 25. Let's look at where delta is equal to 0.5, probably going to be on the put side since the call side is not priced in correctly. 0.5 delta for a 25 put. And let's also look at where put and calls are trading at the same price. We have pretty much a perfect pin at 25. So whenever you're going to the VIX, no matter how you want to construct your possible volatility hedge, the first and foremost thing you need to understand is where are these options being priced from? I think a lot of traders initially will enter this market thinking that they are buying some protection close to at the money. And instead, what they're doing is buying deep intrinsic calls, or even worse, for the put side, if they decide to be short, they are buying deep out of the money or far out of the money puts in the case where they do not understand the difference between the VIX index price and the volatility future pricing of the VIX options. So, bit of a complex topic. A lot of people are getting into options into both as a trading strategy and in looking into next year as ways to hedge their portfolio. The expectation that maybe the market isn't quite as bullish next year. But before you begin that journey, understand the tools and the implementation of those tools that you're about to use. Not everything is one-to-one and not everything is equivalent to other markets. You may understand options, but you might not necessarily have the right understanding of the VIX options. Hopefully this kind of opens up that door and pathway a little bit more and that understanding to get started. So we'll be covering more of this looking into next year. Our How to Hedge webinar was a fairly successful presentation. So we're looking forward to discussing these strategies a bit more and how to implement them with criteria, strategy, and ultimate management moving forward. So with that said, my name is Jared. This is Engineering the Markets. Trade safe. Happy Wednesday. Stay tuned for pre-market prep. And I look forward to talking with you tomorrow for the last Engineering the Market of 2021. So stay tuned and we'll talk more then.
Can you guys hear me okay? Let me make sure my mic is working. Norm, good
Yep.
morning.
Good morning, brother. How you doing?
Good, man. Doing good, doing good. Still feeling crappy, but all is well. Guys, trying to
Sorry
get
to
my
hear that.
camera working, but I'm not sure why it's not connecting, so we'll move forward there. If you're wondering what's going on with our black
I
screens
get to see
there,
my ugly mug instead.
we missed that, man. We haven't seen you in a while. I remember
I
you the
know.
few times I logged in, your camera was off. Um, but yeah, we'll figure my camera situation out. Either way, guys, our TI is not working, but Norman's going to call things out for us. Let's take a look at what we had on our
We
list
got
yesterday.
scanners up on the other screen if you want to see them, guys. You
Yeah,
can look at
yeah.
my screen share and you can see the scanners.
Actually, let me switch. Yeah, let me do that here in the chat room as well, and I'll be able to see that also. So good.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. There's really nothing that interesting on them. So
I'm actually looking at them now. Maybe I could bring this over here, but yeah, yeah, it doesn't look too exciting. That's for sure. Which is okay. We kind of expected that this week a little bit. It's not really crazy surprising to see that. So, all right. Either way, let's take a look at what we had on our list yesterday here, guys. Starting with Apple this morning. Let me see if I can get this here. Uh, hmm, having issues with my hotkeys here. Interesting.
Ella, no, there were no
Interesting.
monsters last night.
Yeah. How did it go yesterday?
It was fine. It was fine. I am quite tired, but it's going all right.
All right. For some reason, I'm not trying. It's not trying to zoom in. We'll just do it here, guys. So here, this Apple yesterday. It was a tough day. I mean, I wasn't trading. I was just looking. I felt horrible yesterday. But based on the what you guys were doing and the stuff we are looking at, it was not an easy trading day. It seemed like it was just very, very tough. So here's Apple. You can see active pre-market activity. We saw at the open it did sell off a little bit. You just didn't get great trading into this actual reversal here. That was nice, but you hard to trust after seeing what the stock was doing before that. Here you have Nvidia. Nvidia was actually pretty clean. Look how nice this short was, right? Gave you a couple opportunities on there as well. AMD, it's just not clean, very choppy. Tesla, not as clean as we saw the day before. And CCL was actually pretty good. I remember CCL had a nice little breakout here, nice continuation. This was nice. Very beautiful double top here as well. And look at the short that this became also. So again, that was a CCL, and that's all we really had. I mean, it was just one of those days where things were not great, but by any means. Norm, let's get to the SPY information. Let me bring this up here.
Yeah, relatively flat. A decent couple of days, I think, but we're relatively flat this morning. The real news, some of the alternative energy stuff's getting hit. FCell, I just deleted my notes, which doesn't help, but I'll go off top of mind what I remember. FCell had earnings this morning. They came out a little bit worse than expected, dropping them 13%. I think Plug's a little bit of a sympathy move on that. And then Bitcoin. If you pull up a Bitcoin chart, Carlos, you'll see that it is near lows. Um, and right at that 46, 47,000 mark, and see if that's going to break down or what it's going to do here. Tell them.
Yeah, very, very interesting. So,
Nothing
yeah.
really interesting as far as data this morning.
All right, guys, let's take a look what we have this morning. Let's remove our stuff from yesterday. Clean that up. Let me see if my camera wants to work now. Let's see if I reset it there. Oh, there we go.
Hey,
Okay.
look at that beautiful
Hey.
beard.
Oh, dude, it's it's been so messy. I haven't shaved it yet. I gotta trim it. It's a
Oh,
mess.
baby
So
boy.
my son yesterday, he took a test, and my daughter, to the young one, the newborn, she's negative. He's positive. So keeping them together, I mean separate, it's been
Oh,
brutal.
it's brutal, dude.
Oh,
How are you
it's brutal.
feeling?
Tired, very
Yeah.
tired. Um, all right, let's get to it, guys.
They're
Let's look
saying
at
they
what.
can't hear me on YouTube, brother. Oh,
Um,
never mind. It was
no,
DJ.
it's,
Ironically, it was DJ Mix on YouTube that was having the problem.
oh, okay. Yeah, come on, DJ, get the volume set there. And what's going on. All right, so let's take a look at our gappers list this morning. I'm looking at Norm screen. It's going to be TSP, NRXP, and IC ISIS G, which we know is not great.
ISIS G.
Not ISIS, but
ISIG.
ISIG. There we go.
No ISIS on this.
No
shit.
ISIS over here. Exactly. TSP. Let's
You're
start there.
growing the beard out, but
Yeah, the exactly. TSP guys here. Let's take a look. We've seen this in our list before, man. It just doesn't trade very well right now. It is up to 15.2, going from 35 to 40. Look how light this volume is. Is this foreign? I don't got my thing to look things up.
No. But this is it's a trucking company. I think they did something with an autonomous semi truck. Like I said, I've deleted my notes, but they had news on having a driver not driving the semi truck.
Okay. Yeah, so it's moving here, TSP, but again, it's scary, guys. The float on this one is what? Not a low flow, 104 million, but
yeah, 100.
It's the spread. Everything's not great on this, and the daily does not look like it's going to be a lot of fun today. Skip on that one. Let's go. NRXP is the next one on our list. This one, just horrible. Not looking good there. Up 11%, 1.7. Horrible intraday activity right
This
now.
is a lower float, 25-ish million. I had FinViz at 24, I think, and TI's at 26. But they had some news on a COVID treatment.
Yeah. I don't like that at all.
Yeah, got Ravi over on YouTube. Sorry, the scanners. We've got an issue with Carlos's scanners this morning, so we're just having to call them out.
Yep. Can I do something like this? Let me see.
Look at you, man.
Let me see if we could. It won't look too pretty, but just gonna put it right over here.
A little bit more. Is that my screen?
That's your screen, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So there we go.
Fancy. Here, watch this. I'm going to move stuff.
Oh, beautiful thing. See?
There you go.
Very nice. Perfect. All right, there we go, guys. So we got that working. So let's look at ISIG this morning. How's this thing not linking? There we go. Perfect. All right, man, this thing was wild. I mean, I know Brian took a trade on this. Andrew took a trade on this as well. Man, this is just I don't know. I gotta be very, very careful, guys. It did pop up all the way to 23. Brian was stuck in this halt here. He did very well. Got out around 20 or so. So very nice there. It is in play again today, guys. You're seeing 4.8 this morning. Doesn't have great volume as it did yesterday. So just be careful. The second days are usually not the best. So just be careful there when it comes to that. I'm not gonna watch this thing. It's just not my type of stock that I like to trade. Low flow as well, and only 922K. So be very mindful of that. 1 second, guys. Just moving something over here out of the way so I can see the chat. There we go. All right, so don't like that one. See what's gapping down. Fuel cell. You had something on this, right?
They had earnings this morning. They missed.
That is looking very nice, guys. 5.2 million shares traded, down 14%. This is nice. Good one for today. Best one so far. So we'll keep that one on there. Next, we have RELI. RELI was horrible yesterday, and I don't see anything great today. Look how bad this thing was yesterday.
Lower float, 10 million. They had a private placement, $20 million offering a few days ago. I haven't seen any news since that. That was prior to Christmas. Low float. TI's got it at 1 million. It was higher than that on FinViz. Not that much high. I mean, like 10.
Yeah. Not fun
today. I'm not
seeing fun. Let's look at HUT. So Bitcoin obviously taking a hit, and the rest of the stuff here is Bitcoin stuff. HUT, Mara, Riot, except for Plug.
Yeah.
So again, these are definitely in play this morning. I'm going to be looking at Mara for sure because I tend to like this one right now. Pre-market action, not that. I expected more volume, actually. Only 174,000. I thought it would have been a little bit higher, but they're definitely in play. We'll take a look at Mara. Let's look at Riot. They're moving, but just not great volume. Riot is another one. It's a good one. I'll put both of these on here. You can look at HUD. Typically, this one is probably the worst trading one for me out of all of them. So I'm going to look at Mara and Riot for right now. Plugs coming in here as well. They are down 2.8 this morning. They could be interesting. 187,000 shares traded. You know, these guys can be very choppy. We've seen that happen quite a bit. But do you really have anything else to watch? Let's put it on here. Let's put plug. Norm, anything you like on your end?
Sir. Looking.
Norm?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yep.
No.
Oh, you said no.
Not
Okay.
seeing much.
Yep. Apple will be on our list, guys, of course. Apple will be on here. So Apple is good. Nvidia, you know, all these tech companies. I'll put this one as a
I mean,
possible.
I think that's really what we can look at if nothing
Yeah.
else pops up.
I know a lot of you guys been watching Facebook the last couple of days, and this one, not doing a whole lot right now. It could be interesting though. We're sitting here this morning, right? So you kind of see it dropping down a little bit. That could be something. We'll put Facebook on here. Let's take us to the chat. See what you guys like right now. Starting with who we have here. Phil, you giving us Phil, what are you doing? Phil,
Phil,
what's going on? You copy and paste like 20 tickers here.
He didn't mean to do that. Sometimes when you paste something like that, cut and paste, it does that.
So Phil, I'm just gonna take your first two here. Actually, no, we'll take MU here. Yeah, pretty quiet right now. And I see you're looking at you know, pretty quiet at the moment. You got a list there of things that could possibly do something. So that's a pretty good list. I like that you have Lyft and Fubo. I'm gonna look at those two. Let's look at Lyft. What do you have Lyft here for? Possible breakout on the daily, but not much going on right now. And you have Fubo. Let's look at Fubo.
I feel bad for Phil. He did that by accident. And
Yeah, Phil, we're not gonna let that go. We hold on to things over here. Fubo is now anytime somebody does that, it's gonna be called the Phil. You just pull the Phil. And yeah. Fubo here, guys. Big day.
Phil
ran down yesterday pretty nice. Possible breakdown of the daily. You got a good list, Phil. Yeah, you got a good list for potentials, right? They're not looking great as far as pre-market, but for potential stuff later on. So thank you, Phil, for that. All right, what else we have, guys? CCL, AMD. It's gonna be a good day.
You guys are killing me.
AMD, yeah, AMD. I mean, I have Nvidia, I have Apple. You know, AMD is another one we can look at as well. Again, it's gonna be one of those days where I just don't expect a whole lot, to be honest. How about the travel sector? CCL, CCL is no good. For those that are wondering, I can move the chat over on YouTube. Phil copy and paste like 20 tickers, all in different lines. You know. And if I move it over, I'll screw up this over here, so I'm not gonna do it. But it was just so funny. All right. What else? What else we have, guys? Anything that has a catalyst? Anything that has something that is worth watching?
It's my pillow kind of morning, I think, man.
It is, man. It is really slim pickings here today. Let's look at YouTube, see what we have here. Ayush is giving
Phil,
us CCL.
Thank you for not taking it the wrong way. He came back right here. I've got a secondary list too if you want to see that.
No, thank you, Phil. We appreciate that. No. Keep that list there. CCL over YouTube. Yeah, CCL could be interesting, guys. Yeah, I have it here as a possible. Actually, I'm gonna add it as a possible. It could be interesting. By the way, CCL, although the pre-market doesn't look great, if you look at this intraday trading, it has done some pretty cool stuff. It's actually traded very well. Very decent. So yeah, CCL could be something here. Walmart, Starbucks. Let's start with Starbucks first. No, unless they have any news. I mean, there's nothing happening.
They're bringing up cruise ships, and they're getting nailed in the press for. I remember one article I saw, I think yesterday afternoon, said something about calling them petri dishes of COVID.
That's good. CCL, yeah, I have that one. We'll see what that does there. American Airlines, not much going on. They're very light volume. Walmart, what's going on with Walmart? Not much going on right now. Pretty quiet at the moment. PROG, it's not a great one. We've seen this before. This is a no there. So you don't want to be dealing with that. Tesla, yeah, Tesla looks fun. Tesla looks good. We'll add Tesla on here. Again, it seems like the tech
on a cruise ship than trade that.
That PROG, right? That PROG is brutal. Look at this. Why will we want to test this? No good, guys. No good. No. And it seems like it might be going down to like a penny stock. Oh, yeah. Careful with that. No good. NVAX. You know what? You called out NVAX yesterday, Norm. I wasn't watching it. You put it out there in the chat. What a run NVAX had yesterday. I mean, this stock normally does not trade very clean. Yesterday was quite the opposite of that. Look at the volume here. Look at this beautiful takeoff. Man, oh man, 153 to 176. So hopefully you got a piece of that yesterday. It did trade very well. It's very interesting today too, where it's sitting at, right? Basically, it's so funny. This entire move, it gave it all back the same day, right? It gave it all back before the close, just gave it all
I
right
was
back.
looking for that. I wasn't at my desk. My wife's off this week, so I've only been, if I traded at all, it's only been a few minutes. I figured that might give it all back.
It gives it all right back, and now it's interesting. You're back where you started the day before. Are you going to continue on here? You know, NVAX has a. Let's put NVAX here. I mean, usually we don't watch this one, but it has a very interesting situation right now with the way it's been trading. So yeah, Christina, thank you for NVAX. Plug we did look at. We have Plug on the list. QDA we have not. No good there. All right, guys. Let's call it here. We're going over to announcements, and then today is Wednesday, so we have Creda also joining us after our community events and announcements. I'm just going to bring this over here. There we go. My hotkeys are not working, so I got to do everything manually for some reason. We'll make sure that's taken care of next time. Here we go.
All right. It is Wednesday, so Artie's webinar on hedging should be posted soon if it's not already. Then next Tuesday night, 8 p.m., you've got John talking about the inner workings of trading breakouts. Also note, guys, that the time on the Monday morning classes are going to be changing. Monday evening, excuse me. The onboarding and tech classes, they're sliding up an hour, Carlos?
Yeah, sliding up an hour. So our onboarding class is going to be at 7 p.m. Eastern time going forward. Okay. And then our tech class, just like all our other webinars, is now at 8 p.m. So every webinar that we have live in the evening is at 8 p.m. For the exception, obviously, if we have either Creda or Eamon based on their time, that'll be at 5 p.m. Eastern time. But we'll make sure to let you guys know when that is.
All right. Psychology. Tonight, instead of a psychology webinar, we're making up Jarrett's gap trading webinar. That'll be at 8 p.m. And then next week, back to the normal psychology. We'll have Dr. Kenneth Reed talking about market dynamics part 2, matchers and mismatchers. And that should be good as well. Let's kick off the new year with a couple of great webinars. Greg A. So to answer your question, all of these are saved. All of these webinars are recorded and available for later viewing in the Education Center. Just a reminder, all the Super Chat revenue is going to Shriners Children's Hospitals. We'll be wrapping that up here in a couple of days. And then don't forget about our new web-based replay simulator. You can check it out at stocktradingsimulator.com. And if you sign up down at the bottom right-hand side, for the email, you will get homework assignments from Simon and Eamon and Simon a couple times a week. Nothing too crazy, not going to spam you. If you are watching on YouTube and you want to come check out the actual trading in the room, you can go to bareboldtraders.com. On the homepage, if you scroll down about halfway, you'll see that test drive now button. Click on that, enter your info, and use the promo code premarket24. You will get a discount on the intro membership. It bills you one time. It does not recur. 7 calendar days, 5 trading days in the room. Reminder, there's a holiday. Market's closed on Friday, so you'll be a day short if you did that today, but nevertheless. And then you can also use the promo code HOLIDAYS40 to get 40% off the annual Elite membership. Creda, good morning. How are you?
Morning, Norm. I'm good, thanks. Weeks flying by. I thought it was Monday there until you said Wednesday.
I know it's been a little crazy. It's been a little crazy. And I apologize. I deleted my notes when we were starting the show. So I wrote down what you're going to be speaking about this morning, but I've lost track of that. So I'll just let you take it away.
No worries. We're talking about coping with success, which is a topic that was actually brought to my attention by a BBT member who wanted to hear more about it. And I realized that I actually hadn't spoken about this very much, if at all. So we're going to talk about that today. So specifically what the person wanted to talk about was when you start making consistent profits. So at the very start of things really taking off for you in your trading and making consistent profits, how do you make sure that you don't sort of create extra pressure for yourself, or that the success becomes a pressure and then you find yourself giving it all back or sliding back down the snakes and ladders game? So I just want to talk about that. So basically, when you start actually seeing consistent success, so consistent profits, and this is something that you've been working towards for ages, you've put a lot of work into, and it starts happening, obviously that's a brilliant thing. But there's one of two ways that it can go, or one of two things that can happen. So either you continue implementing your trading process really well, sticking to your strategy, all of that, and you continue on that trajectory. So obviously still winning and losing, because that's part of the game, but an upwards trajectory in terms of growing your trading account. Or you stop sticking to your process and you start breaking your trading rules. And if that starts to happen, it can be for a number of different reasons. So the key to actually protecting yourself against falling into the trap of, sabotaging your success is to understand exactly what's going on for you. So if you notice that you start breaking your trading rules more often once you start seeing success, then ask yourself what's behind this. So what's happening? And a couple of different things that could be at play for you. So the first one is our friend that we come back to all the time, subconscious limiting beliefs. So if your subconscious has a script running that is at odds with the idea of you being successful, and that could be in a few different ways, like a money mindset one, or something about your self-worth, or having to work hard to be successful and suddenly it's easy. And if any of those scripts are at play in your subconscious, then that will be at odds with your conscious goal of continuing to make profit and sticking to your rules. And so your subconscious will win, as we've talked about before. So that's one thing to be really aware of. If you have any subconscious blocks around success, or even if you're not sure if you do, it might be worth just reflecting on it for a while, because then you could actually preempt this happening. So if you do that deeper work before you even get to the point of making consistent profits, obviously it will help you to get to that point, but it will also help you protect yourself when you do reach success. So just to be really clear on, if I could articulate those beliefs, one could be, I have to work really hard to be successful. And so if suddenly trading is becoming easier for you, then that will be at odds with that belief. Another one could be a money mindset, like a set point of you can only have X amount of money. So that's a set point belief that you would have in terms of your finances. And if you're starting to get profits and see your account grow like that, then something in your subconscious will be pulling you back to that set point, and so you'll break your trading rules to give back the profits. So there are a couple of those subconscious limiting beliefs, but that's not the only thing that could potentially trip you up. So another one is, again, like we talked about before, how pressure can impact your decision making and your cognitive processing. So if you find that now that you're seeing success, it can actually become a pressure, and you see this in sports teams as well, that you stand to lose. So when you're the underdog, or when you're learning your craft and you're on that path, you've nothing to lose, because you only have a big road ahead of you to kind of travel, and the skills to learn and all of that. But suddenly once you're at a point of success, then you have something to lose, even from your ego perspective, and also obviously from a money perspective. But when that happens, then you can feel under more pressure. And if you feel under more pressure, then things that can happen that would translate into breaking your trading rules would be slowing down your decision making, so hesitating to get into trades. Maybe you're overanalyzing, so again, that would lead to hesitation, and all of the other ways that pressure can affect your thinking. So when you're telling yourself, I don't want to do this, and then you do it, so ironic effects. Or maybe your focus is in the wrong place, so you start looking at the wrong time charts or something like that, the wrong indicators. So that can happen you, so pressure comes on. The other one that I wanted to talk about was overconfidence. So let's say you're starting to see success, you've been waiting for this, and then you're making more money, and you actually start feeling really good, and you want to speed up your timeline. So maybe at the outset of your trading journey, you'd set realistic goals around how much money you want to make in what time frame. But once you start seeing success, you start to adjust those expectations in an unrealistic way. Or you get more driven by greed. You're chasing the money and you start actually changing position sizes and stuff that are not part of your strategy. So that can also be a way that this can trip you up. And if that starts happening, then you want to go back to all of the other advice around developing patience. So setting process, performance, and outcome goals to help you with that. In terms of greed, we spoke about that as well. So there's a whole video on that. So if you want to protect yourself against the possibility of this happening, to preempt it, if you're kind of almost at the point of making consistent profits, to preempt this happening, what you can do is make sure that you have a really solid mental training routine. So that's kind of an amalgamation of all of these different techniques, personally tailored to you, and that you're working on your mental edge before you ever get to that point. So that's the best thing that you can do. And then the other piece of it is, if it is starting to happen, you figure out what's going on. So which rules are you breaking? Figure out what's behind it. So is it overconfidence? Is it a subconscious thing? Or is it just that the pressure is actually changing your decision making and your cognitive processing? And then once you have the answer to that, you can actually go to all of the resources. So the whole Mental Edge video playlist, where there's specific videos on each of these topics, and you'll get more in-depth techniques then where you can address these specific issues. So hopefully, I know that's a bit of a lengthy explanation, but hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully that's answered your question, and thanks for it. It's great to hear from BBT members and get ideas for topics as well.
That's awesome, Kreda. Thank you so much. Hope you have a wonderful new year, and we will see you next week.
You too. Happy New Year, everyone.
Take care.
Wow. Okay, that's just in 5 minutes. Imagine what she can do in an hour session.
Yeah.
Where she can really go into things, right? So amazing, guys. Let's give Kreda a big thumbs up. Let's give
look her up.
Norm's.
If you need a little mental coach, mental coaching, look her up. Kreda.
Yep.
She, Kelly, and Kreda Performance.
And she does do one-on-one sessions as well. So if you're interested in that, you can hit her up directly on that also. Let's give Norm's risk manager
my risk manager came in the house to scold me and tell me that I had to work on Friday because this year the market's not closed.
Oh, it's not?
No.
Oh, wow. Okay. I would have bet that it would have been. Oh, interesting. I guess the way things land, Is it a half a day at least, or still a full day also? Wow.
No, it's a full day. I think the bond market closes early, but the stock market is a normal day.
All right. Guys, let's get to what we have here. Again, not a crazy exciting list right now, except for fuel cell. On the other side, this one is looking very, very good. Mara, we'll see what, bouncing back here a little bit. We'll see where this goes. It's going to be very active. Hello. It's going to be very active, I think, today with the way things are going. So that's good. Here is Riot. I like that one also. Plug is okay. Apple is good, and Tesla. Yep, pretty much what we've been watching the last couple of days, right? Besides fuel cell, let's get some levels in here. We're gonna start with fuel cell. We're gonna put $5. Low of the pre-market down here. Up on top of that, guys, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. High of the pre-market sitting over at a 656. We'll do a level there, and then over here another level over at a 538. So below this 5 level, if we were to lose this, oh no, this is nothing else. All-time low? Oh no. Okay, I got excited for a little bit there, but no, there is actually some levels. But we're going back here to November of 2020. So down here we have 339.96. And we also have 448. So we have not been here in a really, really long time. We'll see where this goes. Share, Norm, share.
Oh, no, Revzilla here. Norm, your wife must be gorgeous.
That's good.
I married him.
He is definitely a cutie, man. He is a handsome kid there. Riot, guys, here. Just don't invite Yanni to your house or any meetup, because Yanni tends to hit on family members. Where's Yanni? Is Yanni with us this morning?
Wow.
Yanni. No, Yanni's a good guy. Here, plug, guys, low of the pre-market 27.40. Low of the pre-market for a plug Below that, we do have 2408. And then over here, we do have in the middle of this, we do have 2477. So that's pretty good. Good there for plug. Towards the top, guys, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. And then you do have this level here around 2635. Again, it's a lot of consolidation and touches on here, a lot of support and resistance, but we'll see. Plug can tend to be very choppy, guys, so we'll see where that goes there. Here is Apple. Apple has been great the last couple of days. Not so much yesterday, but the day before was really, really good. So 179.02 low of the pre-market. And then outside of that, I think you're pretty much set, guys, highs and lows for the last 2 trading days. High of the pre-market, you're looking at 180.07. So it'll slam a level there. So that's pretty good on Apple. Good pre-market activity right now. Volume has really, really picked up on this thing. So that's looking good. Here is Tesla. Tesla, for those that like to trade it, I don't like Tesla as much, but it is active, guys, right? Compared to everything else we have here. Your low sitting at 1091. Your high of the pre-market sitting all the way at 111.15. So all the way up here. So pretty nice range there on Tesla. You're kind of stuck between the highs and lows of the last 2 trading days on here. And this all-time highs? No, not yet. No, all-time highs are at 1244. Well, so we'll see. Some good movement on here. Again, just got to be careful on the way this one trades. Some secondary stuff, guys. We got NVIDIA, we have Facebook, we have AMD, we have CCL and NVAX, which was incredible yesterday. Can't put too much weight on the actual pre-market because NVAX can tend to do very good, even sometimes even when the pre-market is not great. All right, I am losing my breath here. Let's go and see what our moderators are looking at this morning. Let's go there. Let's excuse me. Let's go to our moderators list. Let's see what we have here. Bring this over. Gonna resize this. Gonna turn this off so you don't get the crazy mirror effect. As I'm doing this, guys, over on YouTube, please hit that thumbs up. We appreciate it very much. It does help out the channel greatly. So we appreciate, guys, your support. If we can get to 250, 300 likes, that would be amazing. All right, let's bring this in. Where is this? Over here. There we go. Can you guys see that? Actually, let's make this big.
All good.
You guys see it there? Okay, perfect. All right, see our moderators lineup. Let's go to the top here. And what do we have? No, you know what? This is not coming out too good. Hold on. Hold on, guys. We're having, because our trade idea is not working today. I had to switch some stuff, and we're having a little bit of some difficulties here. Let's bring this back. I'm gonna fix this up a little bit better, and we'll just bring it over here. There we go. Much better. All right, so now we can scroll down here, and here we go. All right, who do we have? Starting with Thor. All right, so Thor, you're looking at CCL, NVIDIA, AMD, Neo, Plug, and Apple. Tiffany, nothing on the list today. I agree. It is not a great day. So I agree with that very much there. Dima, you're looking at Apple and Plug. Jared, did not miss you this time. You're looking at Marat, Riot, and Plug, all BTC stuff. And secondary leaks, eggs, coffee, and a nap. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. If you need a secondary list, Phil can hook you up. Phil's got a list for you. He can send you if you don't have anything to watch, Phil's got you covered. Eamon, potential shorts today, PLTR, CGC, Space, and also Neo on there. And let's just show our YouTube friends here since we are pretty much done for now, a little bit early. If we scroll, this is our chat here, guys. Show what this looks like, by the way. Give you guys a little insight of our chat room and what you get access to since we have time. Here we go. So this is our chat room here, right? There we go. And over here, I have the video off, but it's basically what I'm transmitting. When we're live, Andrew will have his platform here or any other moderator. So you can come up here, you can switch between screens. You can look at Norm. He has the scanners up this morning. The scanners is about, what is it, like at least 19 scanners from Trade Ideas really get active during the market open. So you can take advantage of that. And then here's our chat, guys. Say hi to our YouTube friends. Here's our chat room. Over here, I'll show you where we're having a good time this morning. Where is it? I'm not gonna be able to miss it.
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for you know what I'm looking for. the madness of the list that Phil sent this morning.
Phil's list?
Yeah. See,
that was somewhere. A long time ago.
Yeah, it's too
Somebody
long.
might have gone and did somebody delete it? No, you got to go up to 8:43 your time.
8:43 my time. Okay, here
Yeah.
we go. So 8:43. Very active chat, guys. A lot of fun stuff going on. He's definitely take advantage of it. Here
You're
is
about to it, I think.
oh, there we go.
There
Here's
you
Phil.
go.
So Phil's tickers here. His watch list. He just kind of bombed us here with everything he's
Tesla,
looking at today.
Nvidia, Emu,
Mhm.
IonQ, Nikola, Disney, Fubo, Lyft, Plug, and an apology.
There we go. So that is what we have, guys. We're pretty much set here. Here's Peter's list coming in: AMD, Apple, Fuel Cell, which is probably one of the best ones this morning, alongside Apple here with a couple of A's. That looks good. And then secondary list for him is Lucid and CCL. No IPOs, only one SPAC here this morning. So that is what we have. Norm, anything else popping up that we should take a look at, or?
No, but it's about to rain here. So between our watch list and the weather, I think it might be time to go back to bed.
Back to bed. Yes, absolutely.
Little kid wants to trade.
Yes, hit that his shift 1 decker over there. It's just shift 1.
No, don't.
No, that's not one of them.
No.
All right,
Don't
Fuel
listen to
Cell.
Uncle Carlos.
Fuel Cell's looking good, guys. Very active. We'll keep that. Mara is good. Riot, we'll see where this thing goes here. Plug, it's okay. Apple and Fuel Cell are really two that I'm gonna keep a close eye on. It's really about it that I like this morning, and then we'll obviously be listening into what Brian likes. So when he goes live, and also Andrew, which Andrew lately has just been copying Brian's list, and he's been doing very well. So he'll come in and copy Brian's list, and he'll do well there. So
Can he see my bunny?
yes,
Yeah,
I
you
can
can
see
see
it.
it.
I can see your bunny. Oh yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
upside down.
Oh yeah. That's like our watch list today, upside down.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Guys, 9/11. I don't have anything else for you guys. Any questions? Anything else you guys want us to look at? Anything we can answer for our members or people over on YouTube? Our YouTube friends. Where's my YouTube chat? What happened to my YouTube chat? Oh, here we go. Here's our YouTube friends. Anything we can answer for you guys today? What do we have?
Don't touch
I'm gonna put you guys up here. See what's going on. APPS. You know what? That was madness yesterday. Let's look at that, Christina. Hold on a second. APPS. I mean, this thing, guys. Look at the pre-market action. It was crazy, and then it just sells off. It was a great short if you have the stomach to actually take a short on a stock like this. It was trading wild. The spread was crazy. But look at that. It just gave it all back and then some. So talk about an overreaction in the pre-market, and then just the dump happening here. Everybody just selling off, right? Just insane. I don't think a second day plays in it for this stock today.
No, I'm not seeing it either.
You know,
especially, man, and this is, they had that big pop on news with the partnership with Google.
yeah.
And look at what it did. That candle is just, I mean, started at the high, ended just about at the low.
Mm-hmm.
It would only be worse if it had no wick. But
Yeah.
that partnership with, usually you see those partnership with Amazon, partnership with Google, with Facebook,
Right.
and stock just pops hard. That thing just sold off.
No, this thing
Wow.
was horrible. So definitely an overreaction in the pre-market, and did not do well at the market open. Do you think it's sensible to start trading with around $700? I think it's
That's
almost
tough.
impossible.
You're going to get eaten alive
Yeah, I
by
think it's almost
commissions.
impossible. You're better off just sticking to sim trading, and just you building your account until you can get a decent amount to trade. But 700, I mean, it's impossible. And guys, don't get me wrong. If you give Andrew, or anybody that's experienced, an X amount of dollars to grow an account, they probably can do it because they have the experience, right? So sometimes you see stuff out there where this person that has huge experience takes his account and builds it up. Yeah, they can do that. I'm sure if I give Ed, $1,000, he can grow an account. He has that experience.
It takes
But
time.
It's
takes a lot of
it's
time.
going to take a lot of time. But he can do it because he has experience. He's going to make less mistakes than we would, when you're starting out. A lot less, So just keep that in mind. 700,000 to start is impossible. It really is. Stick to sim trading. Learn as much as you can, and then once you have the capital, you can go and give it a really fair shot. Right. That's the way to do it. All right. Are we interested in on I'm sorry, ISIG?
ISIS G.
ISIS G here. Whoa, look at this. It's going. You know what? It's just too risky for me. I get in this trade, I'm going to be sweating. You know,
Yeah.
that's the type of trade this is. It'll be a
Floats
trade that I
too
get in.
high.
I'm going to be just on edge because it can drop on you. And then, you know, if you could take less shares, you're going to take 50 shares. And is it worth it really at that point? You know, yeah, it's just one of these stocks where, yes, you could make a lot of money. I'll leave this to Brian and Andrew because they traded it yesterday. They did very well. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. For me. Definitely in play though, guys. Look, it's picking up here nicely. The last couple of minutes over the previous day close line. It's got some volume. It's pushing higher, maybe to the highs of yesterday. And yeah, definitely looking good. All right, here is Brian the man. He is looking at MU, TSP, Fuel Cell, and Plug, and also ISIS G there for fun. So we'll see where that goes today. Guys, I think we're all set. 9:15. Andrew and Brian are up next with the live trading. Thank you so much for joining us this morning over on YouTube. Please hit that thumbs up. We appreciate it very, very much. And we will see you guys tonight. Tonight's webinar, 8 p.m. Eastern time. And for those that cannot make it, we'll see you tomorrow morning. Take care, guys. Trade safe.
Take care, guys. Trade safe. Take care, guys. Trade safe. It's loud.
Take care, guys. Take trade.
Trade safe.
Trade safe.
He doesn't know trade safe.
Take care, guys.
This 922,000 float ISIS G is too big for him.
too much. Take care, guys. See ya.